seems to be the books that Dwayne the great writer, has put out for people that are ready, and the real guides seem to know who is ready and guide you to even be listening to this very talk, or present you with a book or something on this modern technology on your phone and Facebook or YouTube or Skype, or about this new presentation, wonderful worldwide educators, and the new books that Dwayne has put out the time and effort to present, to be for people that are ready and tired of this reincarnation stuff, which I guess in now is just another illusion that, like, forever is all the same. Dwayne calls it all is. So everything in what we call past and everything in we call future is all one and the same thing. It's just now, in this foreverness, and these experiences that we are going through are lessons here in this physical, astral, causal, mental, etheric realm, which is called psych realms. And this time stuff too, like Claudia mentions how these dream visions have shown her how these reptilians are able to time travel or change. It's like they're able to do things that seem to be like psychic tricks or whatever you want to call it, that they could be, say you were trying to drive a car to do a service for all the humans, and they see that you're going to go do this act, and so they could try to make it so that you wouldn't be able to actually do what you're trying to do, that they have a control of these experiences that we see as a reality here in the physical and creation. Maybe Claudia'd like to mention a little more about this ability that reptilians seem to have about the time stuff, the stuff we call time, and how they're able to manipulate it.
Yes. Thank you, Tim. This is Claudia in Texas. My experiences came many years ago, but they were during times I was abducted by reptilians to work in their factory. There are many reptilian types, species, Pleiadians, blue aliens, and the list goes on. My particular captors were the Orions, and they are a very technologically advanced species of people. They are so far ahead of us in technology, it makes them appear as like they were gods or something. Anyway, in my experience, I can't speak for anybody else, but in my experience, they showed me how they did this. They have instruments or devices where they can stop time, speed it up, turn it back around, slow it down, speed it up, everything that you can imagine they can do. In my experience, they came into the bedroom, and I saw them. They were very tall, like robots. It's the best I can describe it. And they turned on a knob on this device they were holding, and immediately everything in the room stopped. and except for the human, I mean, anything that was like the clock stopped. It stopped ticking. Everything just froze. And they took me, and we went to their factory, and I was put to work constructing a device of some sort. I had no idea what it was. I just knew to put certain parts together and pass it on to the next person sitting next to me. And this went on in my awareness of time for weeks and months. Then when this project was completed and we had assembled all these parts, the reptilian came and took me back to my bedroom at the exact second they took me before. For in Earth time, there was no passage of time. Everything was just the same. When I woke up, I thought it was just a dream, but it really happened. All I can say is that maybe others have experienced this manipulation of time, but because they have it, they can change our viewpoint of what life is really about. I mean, if they can stop time, take you away, and you can work for weeks in a salt mine, and then bring you back to the exact moment they took you, and for Earth time, nothing happened, and you are given a hypnotic command, you will not remember this, but you do remember it. Sometimes it comes back to your mind in weeks or days or hours, and you remember what happened. That's what happened to me. I remember what happened no matter what they said, and they look directly into your eyes and they tell you, oh, you won't remember this. Well, guess what? A lot of people remember it. That's why you hear stories of strange dreams or strange occurrences, and how that time didn't pass for the person experiencing it on the physical earth plane, but wherever you were taken to another level of existence, a long time passed, maybe even years. It doesn't matter. They can manipulate it enough that return you back to your body in the exact same second and condition you were in. So yes, there are a lot of stories coming out at this time, people remembering what's going to happen to them, and they are trying to find out further information. So thank you, Tim, for presenting this opportunity to others. It really helps. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Spotty. I was just thinking about this time being an illusion, because here we are in the now, we call it all the time, but the now being foreverness, is endlessness. And here we have these, in this psych realm stuff, we have beings that we call God by different names. I guess they're just conquerors, from what I'm becoming aware of, that have attained these positions to be governors of different realms, worlds, planes, whatever you want to call it. And in this now, we have these things, it sounds like yugas that take place. It's all in the now, it sounds like, somehow, that we have a golden age and a silver age and a bronze or copper age and an iron age, just as example of names of different what's called yugas, which sound like like the golden age in time-wise in this now is, like almost a couple 100 million years or something, and then it goes down into a silver age to be like half that or maybe a little more than half, and then into a copper age, and that's shorter yet, and then the iron age, which sounds like becoming aware that this is the age or Yuga we're in right now, where this process is about to to end whatever it's called, these cycles in this now. And for all those that haven't become aware of their real self, that this will all be destroyed. All this physical stuff, which is actually maybe what there's just a bunch of energy or atoms stuck together in certain ways. And then there'll be a long time, what we call time in this now, of equal time to all those millions of years, that it's just all, whatever you want to call it, darkness or nothingness in this psych realm stuff, until it all starts all over again. And the ones that weren't aware have to come back and go through the experiences again to get the lessons we need to know what is real and what isn't real, so that we can live in this called real universes, where we don't have reptilians controlling us and doing things to us, and where we're free to do whatever we want, called real freedom, as long as we're not interfering with any other beings. It's also, what is the word that we'd have, amazing, and here we try to understand or comprehend, and another thing is, without this real guidance, which only comes around at certain times in this now, that it's like an opportunity, and it sounds like we have to earn our way out of these psych realms, so you don't have to come back in worse conditions. It sounds like that's the poisoning that all of us are doing to the earth with our cars and exhaust, putting in the poison all over the earth massively, constantly. The burning of these fuels and this nuclear waste stuff going on, like Fukushima, poisoning our ocean. Here we have stuff that's being said about the government putting poisons in our air and these things called chemtrails, and it sounds like it's all purposely being done. The ones that have control for whatever their reason seem to like to make mankind suffer. They get pleasure, or whatever that's called, maybe not pleasure, but they just like to make us suffer. So the opportunity to get out of these psych realms and not be controlled by other beings that are constantly doing us harm and creating our consciousness to think certain ways with their, what do you call it, microwaves, mind control stuff. There's so much going on, it seems like, that if a person is becoming aware of, they wouldn't want to be coming back to this earth if it wasn't to help others get out of this psych realm stuff. It just seems like how wonderful life could be. A person imagines where there is none of this sickness and none of this prison human farming stuff going on, and no more wars and no more starvation and all this stuff. It's just it's something that we must need to experience. Doesn't really harm our real self, but these lessons seem so cruel to have to experience for us humans, that are being done to us by other beings like Orions or whoever's. But who knows what's farther out there in this physical realm, where the end of the stars are or something. what kind of beings exist that we don't know anything at all about in this time-space illusion. Well, I think, let's see, would anybody like to talk about why it is this way, like these governor lords being able to affect how people act on this earth and create religions and they want to be worshipped and stuff like that?
Yeah, Bob and Sandy are on, I believe. Are you there, Bob? Sandy?
I'm here. Bob is at work today. Won't be home till about 6:30. I'll just tell a little experience I had with the collapse of time. I was moving from Wisconsin to Florida, Fort Myers, Florida, and the car I was driving was in a state of disrepair. It was just horrible. My friend always said, "You're not going to make it 2 blocks down the street." I said, "Well, I'm going anyway." So I started out at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I stopped for breakfast, of course, and I went on my merry way, and I also stopped for lunch. I vaguely remember Tennessee. It's almost like a dream. And I arrive in Fort Myers at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, North Fort Myers. And I called my friend, and I said, "Well, I'm here." She says, "You can't be. That's impossible." I said, "I'm here. I'll meet you for supper." And it was quite a very fast trip. Nothing happened with the car or anything. And so that was how I experienced the collapse of time. So I know when you're little, small, or you go to kindergarten, and it becomes summer, especially here in the north when it's summer, that summer seems like forever. It goes on and on and on, and in some cases you're happy to get back to school, some cases not. But as we get older, the time seems to quicken. You get a week off of work, and it's like, where did that time go? Or it's during the day, where did that time go? So time is somewhat of an illusion. Where we are, how we think, how we do our things. It's relative to your experience, but interesting. I guess we wish we had more time to do certain things, but anyway, I just wanted to talk about that experience that I had.
Yeah, it's quite an experience. It makes you wonder what's going on to seem like you were somewhere where you couldn't possibly be physically, according to the Earth time stuff. So many experiences.